Hey, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co, and this is To Back or Not To Back, where we're going to be diving into a variety of crowdfunding campaigns, as we usually do, diving into the campaigns, the pledges, the stretch goals, should you back it, all of that and more. Apologies, today's video is going up a bit late. We usually strive for 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time every single day with our first video of the day, but today I wasn't done in time, so it's 10:20 right now, and I'm currently filming this, so I'm guessing maybe 11:30 if we're lucky, probably closer to 12 o'clock start time for today's video, but either way, better late than never, that's what they usually say. Let's go ahead and dive into To Back or Not To Back, starting off as usual with our Cult of the Now. Cult of the Now is a segment where we take a look at a currently available game. We're about to dive into a bunch of crowdfunding campaigns, and they're all going to be various tempting campaigns. Actually, by the way, this week is a little shorter. I don't know if it's shorter. We have a lot of board game adjacent campaigns, far more than we usually do, possibly the record for the most board game adjacent campaigns, but we only have maybe 6 or 7 actual board game campaigns, maybe more than that. I often think it's less than it is. We have a shorter week today, a few campaigns that'll stand out a bit, but either way, let's go ahead and dive into the Cult of the Now, where we talk about a currently available game instead. And if you were at Gen Con and you missed out on Gnome Hollow because it sold out not once but twice, they sold out, brought a bunch more copies in, and then they sold out again, and if you were hoping to get your hands on Gnome Hollow at Gen Con and you didn't, well, it's available over on Game Nerds. I may have done Gnome Hollow in a Cult of the Now already, but I don't remember for sure, and if I did, I think it may have been a pre-order. I'm not sure. Either way, Gnome Hollow is available now. It's going to be $50 for this game from Game Nerds, not sponsored by Game Nerds or anything or any of that. Although, for full disclaimer and all that, I am friends with the designer of the game. Past that over there, let's go ahead and dive into the campaigns, but as usual, starting off, I am CMO of GameFound. Please take that into account as we go through this video. But moving on, starting off with a variety of board game adjacent campaigns over here, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 board game adjacent campaigns, possibly the record ever. But we have a Meeple style gamer socks from Meeple Style. £1,000 raised so far, 29 backers, not yet funded. Although these, by the way, so here's the deal with socks. I usually buy my socks on either Amazon or eBay, not eBay, Amazon. Usually Amazon, and usually I'll get a 10-pack for I don't know, $1.50 well, I like design socks, so I'll usually get them for, I think it's around $2 to $3 a pair. And I'm used to individual design socks, many custom brands being closer to $8 to $10 a pair. I have a pair of Dice Tower socks that was $10, got them at Dice Tower East because gotta represent and all that. But past that, I walked into this campaign expecting them to be $10 a pair, and while let's go back to the rewards over here. If you get 10 pairs, it's £39 for the pairs. It's already down to £4 a pair, which is again more expensive than cheap socks at Amazon, but cheaper than a lot of designer socks, especially for something that's hobby related. And it goes even cheaper if you decide to buy more. If you decide to buy 20 pairs, it's down to a little over £3 a pair. If you want 40 pairs, it's down to around $2.50 per pair, which already starts putting it in a very reasonable frame. Although granted, I don't know if you need 40 pairs of gamer socks, but hey, go together with friends, bundle up and all of that. Currently, has anyone actually backed this level? Does it say how many people are backing each level? We have 11 times. Nobody apparently needs 40 pairs of socks. Get together with your board game friends. Buy some socks over here. But either way, these are the board game socks. I actually have I think 2 pairs of these a long time ago, way back when they sent me a few pairs to cover on the channel, and so I popped my feet up on channel and showed my board game socks off, because why not? There's always room for foot-related content in this hobby. But you have Catan, well, I thought these were Catan socks. These are Terraforming Mars socks over here. A bunch of various socks from the various board game things over here. We have chess socks, so they are leaning into the semi-mass market in some of these over here. But you can go ahead and buy any 40 pairs of socks in any combination and all that. Although it says ×4, but that's at any 40 pairs. I don't know if that's the picture or the styles. Either way, that's going to be your board game socks over here. We also have the Smoking Bones travel guide over here. This is going to be from Andrew Bosley. This is going to be his Smoking Bones universe. It's the upcoming universe of games and whatnot. This comes together with travel guides and all that. It also has crossover promos for, I think, Everdell, merchants, the night merchant thing, I can't remember what it's called again, the something merchant, the merchant game. Oh my gosh, we'll cover the promo shortly. But this is a bunch of travel guide for a Smoking Bones universe, where you can see various pieces of art. You can try to find the various blow-ons in every single art piece over here, because if you find a blow-on even once in your life, you're considered incredibly privileged, and you can find a blow-on in every single page of this art book series over here. We have the Sightseer pledge. Let's go down for the pledge over here. We have the Smoking Bones travel guide only for $24. And by the way, if you want to get a little bit of a visual on this, you could check this out. Well, I'm sure there's things on the page. But you can also check it out in our most recent board game deluxeification and upgrades video, or maybe 1 or 2 back, but Meg covered the Smoking Bones guide if you want to get a little bit of an overview of what's in there and see if there's something you want. But $24 for that. We have $39 over here for the Smoking Bones promo bundle, which gives you a bunch of extras over here, including the bookmark, available postcards, sticker sheets, art print, and a ticket for the Grand Tour. And you also get promo cards for the Dark Merchant. No, what's it called again? It's called the Merchants of the Dark Road. I'm sorry, I'm blanking on the name. Merchants of the Dark Road, Flow, Flock Together, and Evadel. A promo card for each of these 4 games, all featuring those elusive blow-ends that you will never ever see except for those times that you play those games. And for $149, you get immortalized in the Smoking Bones universe, have a major city named after you, they'll work together with you. I assume it's not completely open, like there's going to be none of that board game McGamer, McGame face. I don't know any of those. I assume you won't be able to do any of those things, but you'll probably be able to get something actually a little bit more, nice for whatever it is, for $149 over there. And that's basically what we have over here. $4 for one book over here, and then a variety of each extra book, no charge, and then the region locked over here, region rates for all that. That's going to be the Smoking Bones universe. Then we have over here Atma, a role-playing card game season 3. $26,000 raised, 368 backers, 8 days to go. Atma is a kind of intro to role-playing. You're going to have a DM, so to speak, a DM who's running the game, but they're doing so with the help of these cards. And then you're going to have the actual encounters of building a character, because you're going to be building a character with the use of these cards, going on these stories. I had season 1 way back in the day. Never actually played it, unfortunately, never got around to it, but it did look very interesting as far as trying to give you that gateway to role-playing experience. The goal of it is to make role-playing more accessible. You still have a DM, you still have players, and you still have very role-playing things, but it's very much distilled into kind of guiding you through the experience. So you have the role-playing experience, but with the help of cards that really guide you through it, that give you these stories, the story beats, the type of interactions. You're still going to be rolling for different things and trying to make choices, but it really kind of it's really intro to role-playing. It's intro to role-playing, that's what the Atma is, and they have 3 of them over here. This is the 3rd one now. It's currently available for $40 for the campaign, and then for $120 you get the ensemble of all 3 sets, season 1, 2, and 3 for the Atma role-playing game. Shipping's going to run you some amount. I don't see what the shipping is on the sidebar over here, but shipping's going to run you some amount for the game. So here we go. Here it is. $15 for Act 1 and $20 for the ensemble of getting all 3 acts. Following up from there, we have Ascending Fate Freebooter Miniatures over here. 70,000 euro raise. 320 backers, 9 days left to go. This is going to fall into the the tabletop miniatures category, less so the board game category, although there always is a debate as to what counts as a board game, what counts as a miniatures game, but this does seem to be more in the miniatures game category, which means I usually don't dive into these as much. And I usually, honestly, the way I usually do these, and it's my own personal bias at play, but I usually categorize these based on what I view them as. Am I attracted to this as a board gamer, or am I not attracted to it because it looks like a tabletop miniatures game? That's usually the categories I put into place as far as where I shove these, although sometimes I get pushback on them, specifically that one game, that core series or whatever it is. But either way, this is going to be a miniatures tabletop game over here, giving you miniatures and accessible diving in. We have the starter rewards over here, the crew pledge, 105 euro. The starter box for 2 players over here, a 2-player starter set, the Natalie Wu is Gordon Freep for 71 euro, and the commander pledge starter box plus all 4 factions for 209 euro if you want that. And you can assign a character for Ascending Fate for 850 euro, which somebody actually went ahead and took them up on. So if you want any of that, this is going to be a tabletop miniatures game. That's a tabletop, well, a miniatures game, just the miniatures. I don't know what the category. It's a miniatures game. That's what it is over here. Moving on, we have the Adventures board game table by Wooden Castle. 60,000 euro raised, 20 backers, 14 days left to go. This is another game table. We only have 20 backers and 60,000 euro because game tables can be expensive. That's how this works over here. But this is giving you a game table that does look kind of cool, honestly. If you go over here, if you see this, the biggest thing to note is the intro prices show the table topper, but say the table topper isn't included, which I do not love that. I don't love that. Again, they do say it pretty clearly, so that is nice that like any other elements such as tabletops can be added as add-ons. And if I'm making a mistake here on this, I tried looking through because sometimes you might have like a surface and then a surface on top, so maybe that's included. It's possible I'm getting this wrong, but I guess looking through this as a backer, it really looks like this picture over here shows this as being included and is not included. You're getting this over here. That's what you're getting. Whoa, back step. You're getting this over here from what I can see. Again, the tabletop's going to be a separate add-on, even though it shows in the main picture. I do think that is not great because you could run into people who spend $3,000 and make a mistake. And like this isn't a single board game. If a single person makes that mistake, that's a $3,000 miss. Well, not 3,000, but it's a 1,500 euro. Plus, if you're buying in the US, delivery can be as much as 1,000 euro. Can be, depends what you get. But that means that you're looking at someone spending 2,500 euro on something and not realizing a piece isn't included, which really isn't great. So I wish that were clearer there. Again, or I'm wrong, but it's not clear to me. Past that over here, we have the Early Bird S and Delivery for 2024 if you want that for 100 euro. We have the Children's Coffee Game Table for 450 euro, which honestly, as much as I love the look of the big table, the coffee table, I have a coffee board game table. This doesn't smack to me. For me, this personally isn't my vibe as far as a coffee board game table. Personally speaking, on my own 2 cents. Versus the game table does look pretty cool. I specifically like the legs. I'll show you those shortly. We have 1350 for the small, we have 1450 for the medium, and we have 1650 for the large. But then the biggest thing for me is the legs over here. Let's see if we can find this over here. We have standard wooden legs if you want those. Those don't cost anything extra. You choose the leg you want. We have steel frame legs in case that's your vibe. I think I prefer the wooden, but this is a look. It's not a bad look. I'm open to it. But then the one I love, the steel spider leg, is going to run you an extra €375. But man, that looks classy. That looks like a classy leg over there. That looks very cool. I want those legs for my table. But either way, and again, it's going to be there will be an initial shipping fee on top of the €375. So it's not just €375. That is, again, it's pricey, but it does look nice. Then we have over here, we have the tabletops, 460, 460, 460 for any of them. Looks like the tabletop is the same price for all of them, which is interesting to me because in theory it's more construction material, but hey, I guess if you're getting a large table, consider it a discount for getting the large. Even the king is going to be 460 for the tabletop over there. But again, this is where it all adds up. If you want those legs, if you want the table, if you want delivery, you could be looking at, €3,000 plus to get this table, depending on where you are. Just factor that in. We haven't even got to the accessories and all that, so that's basically where you got as far as the game table. We have cup holders, wine holders, all the various gizmos and gadgets that come with tables. My own 2 cents as somebody that has multiple game tables, I find that I use the accessories far less than you might think. My personal recommendation is a cup holder, and that's about it. I think and you do you, but the other gizmos, well, actually depends. The side rail accessories, cup holders, I find no one in myself or my game group uses the rest of them despite the fact that I have them. So, and again, that's just one person's experience, one person and his game group's experience, but in case you're trying to save money, it's worth knowing that. We're worth knowing that that's my experience. But there are some other things over here, something like this, the Game Master Station, that could be fun. The resources bar, I do have one of those. I do use that for the separation. So some of these things can be very useful or cool, just situational to what your own personal experience is and what you want, and think through that. We have a USB charger and a lighting system for €200 on top of that. Again, prices can go up pretty quickly, but you can start off on the cheaper side with €1,500 plus delivery, although again, cheap is relative. That's basically what we have over here. Shipping, you want to make sure to look at shipping. They talk about the shipping options as far as, pre-setup and all that stuff, but USA, €700 and up, USA for flying at €1,150. Everything get pretty expensive pretty quickly, but if you wanted another option for a game table, Wooden Castle game tables over on GameFound. Then we have over here, we have the hobby case, which is not loading. The hobby case 3D printable STLs, 21,000 raised, 301 backers, 70 days to go. This is basically giving you 3D printed STL files, whatever it is, for 3D printed STL files for cases, for board games and things. So you are going to be 3D printing these yourself. Factor that in. You're going to be getting €45 for the hobby case all files, and then €65 if you want their previous things. They had a previous campaign where they had the adapt a tabletop. Again, 3D printable yourself, but if you are handy enough, or if you do that stuff, then you have those options to go ahead and build a variety of shelves. You can spend €9 to get extra skins and all that, or whatnot. Kickstarter exclusive backers, free save. Sorry, 2 free skins that are free. You're saving €9 if you get it over here. I'll save are relative term. You're just getting them for free during the course of the campaign. But that's basically what we have. More gaming shelves in case you are someone who is 3D printer handy. And then lastly, we have the Brandon Sanderson Cosmere RPG. €7 million raised, 22,000 backers, 17 days to go. Honestly, this deserves its own full crowdfunding deep dive from somebody who is passionate about RPGs. I am not that person though, so you can get a very light overview as you tend to get from me when you cover RPG campaigns. The closest to a full RPG deep dive I ever did was the Gloomhaven campaign, and that also helped that they had miniatures and Gloomhaven and Frosthaven and Gloomhaven 2nd Edition and buttons and bugs and all those things. RPGs, I just don't know enough to be passionate about them. But we do have an RPG system. It's going to run with the RPG stuff or whatnot. There is a Fate die, I think it was called. Let me see if I can find the Fate die. It's going to take place in the Cosmere, which is Brandon Sanderson's universe. I believe they currently have 2 of the 3 universes already, and the main one, whatever it is, I can't remember what it's called. The one of the ones is coming later, basically. So we have the Cosmere. You choose 2 PDFs. Okay, let's go pledge levels last over here. This is going to run the Cosmere. So we have the Mistborn, we have the Elantris, World Hopper. I can't remember what it is. They have 3 books. That's what I remember. They have 3 books over here. Cosmere contains Mistborn, nope, any 2 PDFs. I can't find it. 2 of the universes, I believe, are already done. The 3rd universe will be done later, but that's going to be, and again, Cosmere universe, but that's planets or whatnot. Right now, you can go ahead for $60. You can get 2 of the 4, any 2 of the 6 core books for $60 for PDFs. $95 is the same thing, but you get the PDFs and the physical copies as well. For $195, you get the player pledge, including everything you need to begin role-playing. You get handbooks and role guides for both Roshar and Scadrial. The last one is not coming until later. I think that was the issue over there. For $295, you basically get everything. It's going to ship in 2 waves over 2025 and 2026 because it's giving you content for the stuff that isn't even out yet. And then for $385, you get the collector, and that's basically you get to the kind of all-in, giving you everything, liquefied dice, all that. You have 9,000 people spending $400 a pop to go ahead and get in on the Cosmere over here. Past that, there's some basic dice. There's the deluxe dice over here. There's miniatures if you want those. But I want to show you something about the campaign because they have this, nope, not the, I guess that's the life plot. The plot die. So the plot die is a thing you can roll. There's an extra RPG element where you can add it to various encounters. It can possibly give you a boost to your test with a negative effect, or it can give you an opportunity instead. So it gives you an extra element you can choose to add to your various encounters, whether you're running away from somebody, talking to a merchant, all of those things. It gives you an extra degree of, well, plot or chaos to your mix. Past that, you can go through the campaign over here, find more things. There's lots of preview content, lots of content from those who actually are more into the RPG universe. So if you want to get all of that, well, it's over here for you. Again, I have to mention it. It's something very, very large in the board game space. Congrats to Brotherwise, by the way, for, I think, the single largest tabletop campaign this year. This takes over from Alter TCG. And tabletop is interesting because the tabletop space is like tabletop and then board games are separate. The largest board game campaigns are running at around, I think, like 3 million a pop. Oh, I guess there's DC United did like 4.5 million. So that's the largest board game campaign of the year. But the two largest tabletop campaigns are going to be Alter TCG with 6 million, and now the Cosmere with 7 million are the two largest tabletop campaigns in the tabletop space. And that's basically what we have for all the board game adjacent, which means we can finally dive into the new stuff. But before we do, first a word from our sponsor, which is WSBG. Once again, you're diving into the last basically month left before ticket sales close on all their events over here. WSBG, they run the World Series of Board Gaming. It's basically a tournament where you can win $40,000 or up to $40,000 in prizes are being given away. But there's also going to have tournaments for 16 different games to compete to be the best in class in each of those 16 games, and then go to the next tier where you can then try to win, well, second place, I guess, and then finally be in the final tournament to get the World Series of Board Gaming to be the best ever at that. But not just that, they have, well, actual events where you can compete in these board games from all the games you're seeing over here on the screen right now, or many of the games. You're not even seeing all of them because the screen's too big over there. You're getting many other screens over here, but they also have tons of side rooms, events, things at night going on at night. You have side games going on, side tournaments going on, and of course the full dice, well, a large portion of the Dice Tower West library is going to be there as well, so you have tons of games to play as much as you possibly can. This is going to be an event that is a lot of fun. I've gone the past 2 years. I'm going to be going again this year. I'm looking forward to going because it is a fun event, not just from the competition stance, which I barely engage in, although I am competing this year, but more so just the people, the games, just a generally good time. It's a very laid back, very enjoyable convention. And I say laid back, even though you might think it's not because of, well, the fact that it's a competition, it is still laid back. You can go ahead and use, I believe it's code, oh my gosh, I have to double check my code. I'll include it in the sponsor note down below, but I believe it's code, I think it's Alex, I have to double check, to get $50 off a ticket. If you want, you please go ahead and use that code, and that is our sponsor, World Series of Board Gaming. Moving on, we have over here, we have Dead Reckoning. This one is actually kind of over. I missed this because of Gen Con, I didn't cover crowdfunding campaigns last week, and this is a shorter campaign, so I'm going to briefly talk about this, very briefly. I won't go into that much detail. We have Dead Reckoning Port of Call over here. This is the newest expansion for Dead Reckoning, giving you the newest expansion, Port of Call, which gives you more content to the game, and also giving you a giant wooden chest to store everything in. That's basically what you got over here. You had $45 for the Port of Call, although they actually had a build your own bundle where you got $45, which gave you an additional $10 of credit after the campaign and the Pledge Manager. This seemed to be something I got after a lot of pushback as far as, you know, getting extra stuff over there. But then we have over here Dead Reckoning, then they had the $79 for the base game if you need that, and we had $189 for the Captain's Chest and Port of Call, and then $549 for the all-in for absolutely everything. So this Captain's Chest over here, designed to hold everything for your Dead Reckoning, a worthy chest for the most salty of captains and Port of Call. I'm not going to heavily go into this. There was some pushback and drama and things during the campaign, but unfortunately because I missed it, we're not going to cover it this week. The campaign did pretty well, raising $500,000, not quite as much as their original campaign, which I believe crossed $1 million or came very close. I think it crossed $1 million, but Dead Reckoning is still a popular game, even though it hasn't fully held to its level of popularity. The should you back, should you not on this is Dead Reckoning did do a great job holding this campaign, holding its value doing the first campaign, but it did kind of drift down slowly over time. It's still a very popular game. It has become a little less popular over time. It's one that I'm definitely less confident will hold its value just based on how the second market has been on the game. Moving on over here, we have Dungeons Degenerates, the expansioning. 1,100 backers, $160,000 raised, 4 days to go, and a very funny video. I've seen the videos in the past from Sean over here. I've seen the videos in the past, and they are immensely entertaining. They got a great vibe, very charming, this feels like supporting a small creator, and like maybe it's manufacturing based intentional, but they really do a good job. Just it feels good. This feel good vibes from this video. I do recommend watch the first 30 seconds. You'll see what I mean. It's just charming. It pulls you in. But Dungeons Degenerates is a very well, not that popular, but very highly rated dungeon crawler board game, a cooperative dungeon crawler. I think it's rated an 8.1 on Board Game Geek. It's one that, to me personally, the art style has never pulled me in, and so because of that, I've never even been interested in trying it. Although it's a very distinctive art style, which means it does have its own fan base and following. Over here, this expansion expansion is bringing you this campaign is bringing you 3 new expansions: Dirty Deeds, Goblin Mode, and Mood Madness. Each of them giving you 4 new characters. Goblins letting you play as goblins for the first time, and then Mood Madness giving you a somewhat prequel story with like the moon, that you're on the moon of Dungeon Degenerates as well. That's basically what we have for the campaigns over here. We have the Dirty Dude, just 1 box. We have the Goblin's Apprentice, just 1 box. The Lunatics, just 1 box. Those giving you the respective campaigns over there, the respective expansions. We have the Triple Threat, all 3 boxes for $120. Not really a savings, but I guess you'll save on shipping. And we have just the new stuff for $135, which also gives you the Metal Hand. They are doing the Metal Hand of Doom, because this is Dungeon Degenerates Hand of Doom. They are printing the Metal Hand, the Hand of Doom for the first time in metal, and that's going to be an additional $15 and exclusive this campaign. For $135, you get all of that stuff over there. And then we have other things if you want to get the original Dungeon Doom or the Mother Load for $7.29. Shopkeeper, no, the Mother Load's one. Get everything in this campaign for 1 bundle saving, $7.29 down from $8.61. That is a whole lot of money, and there's 9 people spending that whole lot of money on this campaign. As far as should you back or should you not, will it hold its value? Dungeon Degenerates in general, if you look at the secondhand market, hasn't done a great job holding its value. Some of the other stuff can be harder to track down, so if you are particular about what you want, that might be where this is more worth, getting your hands in it or backing and all that. But in general, this is one that has done a little less. You get most of your money back, but not all of it. You definitely take a hit, especially once you factor in shipping as well. Moving on over here, we have Dungeon, Pirate, and Space Days, 3 easy coffee table games. 443 backers, $16,000 raised, 7 days to go. Coming to you from Zato Games. This is the second in this series of giving you, well, the same basic gameplay, but across 3 different themes, and different card abilities will give you different interactions. Think Flux. Like, there's 3 different versions of Flux here. It's not Flux, but that kind of system, where it's the same basic game with different themes, different cards, different rules. But the basic idea is you're trying to construct a week. You're filling your week with creatures and score more points than your opponent. You're placing cards into your own week. Each card has abilities as far as how they're placed, who they can be placed to, where they go in the week, things like that. But there's also various abilities you can play as well that will modify your own or your opponent's cards. That's basically what the game is. It's a quick fill your week, score as many points as possible, just quick card playing. You can get multiple sets to mix and match more for more cards and duplicates and all those things. We have Pirate Days, which is the same exact game with a pirate theme and different cards. And then we have Space Days, which is the same exact theme with different cards and all of that. Any individual game is going to run you £5 over here, around €7, and the set of 3 of them is going to be running you £14, so you're going to get a £1 saving over there. No, wait, 1 second. It's 5, 5, and 6. Why is Pirate Days more expensive? Why is Pirate Days more expensive? What am I missing here? What's in Pirate Days that I don't know about? Either way, so you're getting a €2 saving if you get all 3 of them together. And plus a free promo as well. And then we have Wolf, Cat, and Dino Days, which is the previous set for €14. And then we have all 3 for €25. So it's going to save an additional 14, 14, 28. So you're saving an additional chunk, €25 for all 6 of these games over here. And then you can have multiple sets of each, which you can either gift to friends or go for a group pledge, or even add so you have more cards of each kind. And the shipping is going to run you, well, here's a little shipping table you can see over here. That's basically what we have for the Dungeon Days campaign. Should you back it, should you not, will hold its value. In general, games like this are very hard to hold their value, just given how cheap they are and given the shipping cost on top of them. I will say, if you are interested in getting these games, it may well be your cheapest time to get these games. Just the nature of being very affordable, cheap games that you can get in a set of, well, either 1, 3, or 6 of them. This is likely the cheapest time to get them personally, but it still likely will not hold its value. Just small box games on crowdfunding rarely do. We have Liars and Looters over here. Liars and Looters is a sneaky card game. 253 backers, $12,000 raised, 11 days to go. Liars and Looters is exactly what it sounds like. There's lots of lying and there's lots of looting. Well, more specifically, you're going to get in this game a little clan card. You can see over here these clan cards. They have symbols on them telling you the types of cards you're going to get. Then you're going to place cards down and tell people what those cards are, and people can trade cards with you, just lying back and forth to each other. So you can just sit there and say, oh, you need a red card? I have a red card. Well, what do you need? I need a green card. Let's go ahead. I don't think there's green. A blue card. I need a blue card. You can then go ahead and swap those cards and then find out whether you just got lied to or not. It's one of those games where inherently during the course of the game, you're going to have to build trust in order to get to the win. So you need to build trust and tell the truth often enough. But the problem with that is eventually you need to lie to people to make sure they don't win instead. So kind of think like a semi-cosmic encounter vibe, but distilled just purely to the bluff of the cards you're playing and not any larger system at play. That's basically what Liars and Looters are. There's going to be the expansion that will add a little more content to the game, but basically a straightforward bluffing and not sure if it's called set collection, but bluffing and something collection game. That's basically what we have over here. We have €20 for the €20 for the Ready to Explore base game. We have €46 for the Great Adventure All In, which gives you the Neophene Mat and the Language Plaque plus Market Mayhem, which is the expansion for the game. And then we have for €400 Looter for Life, Lifetime All In. You can go ahead. There's 5 left of these. These are basically if you want to go ahead and get their next games planned. They have a whole lineup of their future games that are planned. Of course, if you do something like this, it is inherently a risk, but it could be a risk that pays off. Chip Theory backers, Chip Theory games, strategist pledge backers know full well that it has been a pledge that has paid off for most of them, because Chip Theory keeps pumping out games and they keep offering their strategist pledges. It's fascinating. Anyways, that's basically what we have here. Liars and looters. As far as should you back, should you not, will hold its value. Again, same problem. It's a small box game. Once you factor in the price of the game plus shipping, likely won't hold its value in the second-hand market, but again, likely will be the cheapest way to get your hands in it, especially considering there's 250 backers. Even if that backer count doubles by the end of the campaign, there's not a lot of copies in the wild, so if you want to guarantee this game, this is the cheapest way to do so, or the most, not cheapest. If you want to guarantee this game, this is probably the best way to do so, but it likely won't hold its value. So you've been eaten over here. So you've been, no, that's not true. So you've been cursed. 1,000 backers, $61,000 raised, 17 days to go. This is US only. If Looty Creations in the past, what they have done is they've done this with On the Underground. They did this with On the Underground, where they ran a campaign on Kickstarter, and then over on GameFound they ran the campaign for international backers. I do not know if that's their plan right now, but just given that, I would guess that's their plan. So if you are not a US backer, this might be, and I say US only, it might not be US only. Yeah, US only. I want to see if like US only, see options for international. I wasn't sure, maybe it's like US and Canada. It's USA only according to this over here, but my guess is they'll run a campaign later. They say scroll down, international availability. Let's see what they say over here. We've partnered with international, so maybe they won't do a crowdfunding campaign, so I don't know. So it looks like they're partnering. They're not saying that they will do another campaign. We don't know. We don't know. Again, they did in the past, so we'll see how that plays out. But either way, this is So You've Been Cursed, which is the follow-up to So You've Been Eaten. It is a 0 to 2 player game. Yes, that's right. It is a 0-player game because there's both the 2-player game with asymmetric sides, then there's the asymmetric solo modes for each character, and because you can run the asymmetric solo modes against each other, you can actually play a 0-player game where not a single decision is made by you the entire course of the game. So if you want that kind of thing, there is a charm to that kind of appeal. I think So You've Been Eaten, So You've Been Cursed, and then Mind Clash's game can do it too. The oh my gosh, I always forget, Ironwood. Ironwood as well can do that as well. They don't advertise it, but you can run the AIs against each other in that game. So there's now, on the marketplace, there are 3 games that can be played at 0 players. I'm sure there's more. Let me know in the comments down below the ones that are out there as well, so that everyone else can get their 0-player games. But 1,000 backers, 61,000, not doing nearly as well as So You've Been Eaten, although weirdly enough, this one appeals to me more, so I don't know. Although So You've Been Eaten did have a charm to it. The problem is I had played it and was like okay with it, and so I guess I'm more intrigued by the one I haven't played because So You've Been Cursed seems interesting. But you're going to have basically one person running around the town over there trying to collect spells and collect ingredients and make sure he does not succumb to the curse, and then you have the monster running around as well, and you're basically, one of the interesting things about the game is you're controlling the same character pawn, so as you leave your character pawn in different places, as you end off one turn, you're introducing the other person to the decisions you kind of left them with, or the spot you left them with, which is an interesting element, although you're doing different things on the board itself. So you have different things you're doing on the board, but using the same pawn on the board, which is a fascinating mechanic that I'm curious to see how it actually plays out. The pledge levels is $29 for the basic version of the game. We have $39 for the premium edition, and we have $49 for the collector edition, giving you all that. Let's see if we can scroll down to a quick overview of what those have. The premium edition gives you everything in the basic, plus 16 ingredient tokens, the cure token, panic token, and curse token, and the collector edition gives you everything you've seen already, plus 12 town guards, 9 energy tokens, 9 coin tokens, and the wizard and monster boards. I assume most people are going collector because this midway, yeah, we have 58 on the midway, we have 62 on the basic, and then we have the collectors with 693, which checks out honestly, because in general, So You've Been bundles. So you want the bundles of these, you can go ahead and get that for 234 people got the bundles of these games for $98 instead. If you want both of those games, So You've Been Eaten and So You've Been Cursed. As far as shipping over here, let's go to shipping. Where's shipping over here? International availability, shipping, fulfillment. There we go. Maybe not entirely. No BS. There's something. Is there a shipping table here? I don't recall if there's a shipping table or not. Let's see if we can scroll to it. I'm not seeing it right now. We have basic shipping costs. Basic edition $9, premium edition $9, collector edition $9. So it's straight up across the board on those. As far as should you back or should you not, will it hold its value? Hard to say on this, but I'd say based on So You've Been Eaten, I would say it won't. So You've Been Eaten, the premium edition, the collector edition of the game, generally goes for like, $10, $20 cheaper than what people paid for on crowdfunding. It did hold its value initially when it first arrived, but as time has gone on, it's definitely one that has not held its value, and you're losing, 30 to 50% of the value of the game plus shipping. It brings you close to half the cost of what you paid is what you're getting back on this. So this is one that likely will not hold its value, which means your options are just waiting for retail, picking up the cheapest version possible, or alternatively just backing in, not worrying too much about it, as much as we do talk about value on this over here. And again, I need to do a full video on this at some point, but in general, I talk about value from a stance of being able to buy as many games as possible, and if they're not for you, turning around, selling them, and buying the next game. For me, it is about enjoyment of the hobby, while trying to do so on a limited budget. It's not about making money. This is not a good way to make money in general. It is just about trying to elongate how far your dollar takes you in this hobby. But in general, it's not all the only reason to back. Lots of people back for different reasons, and so that's going to be So You've Been Cursed. Moving on to the next campaign, we have the Cats of Mont Michel, which is not the great pronunciation. You can check out a far better pronunciation. Meg did a pronunciation of it on, well, I mean, you can probably check out the campaign videos, but either way, Raybox Games over here. Okay, this is going to be continuing their Paths Unknown, I think it's called Paths Unknown system, that they started with Escape from Stalingrad Sea, and they've continued across, I think, 4 or 5 games now. This by far seems to be their most popular game, because we have 17 days left to go in the campaign. It may well double Escape from Stalingrad Sea, which until now was the most popular one, I believe. With 1,700 backers, $274,000 raised over here, this basically takes their Paths Unknown system and layers anthropomorphic animals on top of that, which everyone knows is a recipe for, well, anything going well in life. And so we have 17 days left to go on this. We have cats on this game. They have successfully delivered 4 crafting campaigns. Yes, they do have, I think they have 2 currently outstanding, so take that into account if you are concerned with it. I saw some people, because we did a preview video on the channel, and I saw some people comment about that, and in general, I'm not usually too scared about undelivered campaigns. Very often companies do have campaigns in the mix, but obviously do your own diligence, research, and all that to make sure that you're not worried too much by what a campaign. Like when a company gets to a point that I'm personally nervous, I'll talk about it. I'll say, hey, I'm now nervous. But until it gets to that point, I just don't really care. But that doesn't mean it's not a reason to be nervous. It just means that there's usually things you get to a point where you're like, okay, now the flags are starting to appear. For me, I just don't have that yet, but that's not a guarantee. That's just, my lack of nervousness. I think the quote I said once was, my lack of concern does not guarantee your safety, something like that. But either way, we have Mum set up over here, compact player, the streamlined award-winning Paths Unknown system. So this is a very quick system, which you're going to be playing through on the book. So you're going to be opening the book and playing it on the page, which they're not the first to innovate, but they certainly have picked it up for their games and are using it a lot. They have, you're going to be using an action point system. The books or the cards are going to give you the actions you can spend. You'll be wandering around the board, trying to engage with the enemies, picking things up, investigating points, trying to pounce, leap, and all of that as you go through the game. And for the pledge levels, we have 179 Canadian, so around $139 US for the full perfection pledge, giving you this nice box set with the game, the expansions, the miniatures, all those various things. We have the pinch of nope, not we have the PDF pledge, a printable version of the game for $12, the cool cat pledge for $50, giving you the base game, and then for $60 the lion's share pledge, giving you the box set includes everything you need to play, includes the accessories box set over here as well. And then you can individually box and put together your own things, the vermin, the miniatures, the catnip over here, all the various things added to your pledge. You can get the official cat hat of the game. This is a cat hat for the game because we all need a nice little cat beanie over there. We have the kittens of Mont Saint Michel over here, giving you a friendly co-op adventure card game, the kittens of the game. Different art, which I like that. I like the fact they have different art in this game, giving you a different version of the game, just in the same universe. And the sun drop option for a perfection pledge only. So this can be the sun drop option to get on that, giving you, well, sun drop on the campaign. That's basically what we have over here. That's basically for the campaign. As far as should you back it, should you not, will it hold its value? Hard to say on this one. Escape from Stalingrad Sea has been a little bit of a mixed bag in general. If you look at, and again, I only looked at one of their games, but across their games, whatever it is, Escape from Stalingrad Sea, the most popular one till now, has been a bit of a mix. Some copies holding the value, some copies not, and that's also complicated by the fact that they had so many different versions of how to get that game, with extras, with pencils, with what I don't remember all the details, but they had a lot of different versions of the game. This one is their most popular game. This, again, it's by the time the campaign's done, this is already the most popular, and by the time the campaign's done, it's going to be far more than it is right now. And so in general, this has a higher degree of popularity while building on a system that already is well rated. Escape from Stalingrad Sea is very well rated, and this is just a theme that is more appealing to a lot of people, built on that Paths Unknown system. And so especially when you have things like the Perfection Pledge, I do think this is the most likely to hold its value from the campaigns we're talking about today, but it still falls into a bit of a uncertainty because their other campaigns have been a mix. So I definitely put this in the risk camp. If you want to back this, by all means do so. No guarantees on the value aspect, but it is the most popular campaign, so that certainly can help things out. We have Unscrewed over here. 196 backers. We have 196 backers, 17 days to go. Unscrewed is a 90s cartoon-inspired battle royale game. This is exactly what it sounds like. You're going to have a 90s-inspired battle royale game where you're going to be slipping off the board, dropping oil, splattering blood, people going to be slipping and sliding, throwing bombs, using their own characters' individual benefits and abilities while the board slowly closes around you. Let me see if I can find the GIF over here. Oh, and it's pre-programmed. I forgot to tell you that. It's a pre-programmed game where you pre-program your actions. So you're like, I'm going to do this and move here and do that, and you have to pre-program all those actions and then see what other players are doing along the way, which adds its own little chaos to the game, because action programming combined with slipping across the board, falling off the board, and a battle royale system where the board is slowly closing around you. Here we go. So you see over here, they have a great way that the board is slowly getting more and more dangerous as barbed wire drops down and other layers come closer and closer in. So the next time you slide on blood, you're sliding into barbed wire instead of off the board. So overall, it looks very random, chaotic, and fun in that kind of sense. If you like action programming, if you like that 90s vibe, this may well be a game for you. Pledges come in at $56 for the basic pledge, and that's all they really have over there, and shipping's going to run you an additional $20 to $30 on top of that. They say expected is 20, max is 30, which is a cute little system. I like the system of expected and max. The only problem over here is at the end of the day, should you back it, should you not, you are looking at $76 to $86 for this game once you factor in shipping, and I do think that's less likely to hold its value. Because it's only 196 backers, it does fall into that category if you want to guarantee access to this game, and it does seem to have a very unique theme, or in terms of the way it's, again, action programming plus all this chaos. Seems like Robo Rally-ish, but leaning more into like 90s style cartoons as opposed to Robo Rally, which can be a lot of fun. So if you want to guarantee an access to a copy of this game, you can definitely, this is the best time to do so with so few copies available, but it's less likely to hold its value. Moving on, we have Dungeon Twister 20th Anniversary Edition. 100,000 euro raised, 513 backers, 22 days left to go. This is bringing back Dungeon Twister for the third time. We had Dungeon Twister 1, we had Dungeon Twister 2 Prison, and now we have Dungeon Twister Anniversary Edition over here, bringing you new miniatures, new, I think, new art, gameplay elements, all that stuff. We have over here the base pledge over here. Well, the game, let's talk about the game briefly. The game's going to have you wandering onto the board, moving around through these tiles, and then rotating tiles around the board while you do abilities and all that stuff, trying to figure out your way to win in this ever-moving Dungeon Twister situation. The dungeons are twisting. They have a great video. Check out the campaign video. It's a very solid video as well. We'll give you a good overview. And the campaign's going to have the base game, but also expansions that are going to be exclusive to crowdfunding, which is worth paying attention to because that might be the main reason to back right now. We have pledges over here. We have the miniature pledge. Let's see. Did I just skip past the pledges in detail? Let's go pledges in detail. 69 euro for the base game for 2 players. This gives you basic Dungeon Twister. You can go ahead and play that. You could try this on Board Game Arena if you want to get a sense for the gameplay. This is available on Board Game Arena. It's an older game, been around for quite some time if you want to check it out. We have the Paladin pledge, which gives the base game plus the GameFound exclusive Paladins and Dragons and 3 to 4 player expansion. So if you want the GameFound exclusive expansions, that's going to be in this pledge over here. We have 149 euro, which also gives you the Creatures and Sylvesters expansion as well. And then we have the playmat over here, 199 euro, which gives you the solo mode, which people don't love when solo modes are specific, but if you want that solo mode, as well as a playmat, that's going to be 199 euro for all of that. And this gives you the full breakdown of the individual things you can get, as well as the ways you have the add-ons over here if you want to individually break down what it is you want to get from the miniatures, the Sylvesters, the Paladins and Dragons, all these various things. If you want to break down the stuff that you want in your individual plays, a solo mode for 25 euro over here, which seems like a lot for a solo mode, but it is what it is. That's basically what we have over here for this campaign. As far as should you back or should you not, will it hold its value? It is interesting because this campaign had like 5,000 people following it, and we currently only have 513 backers. So there was some sort of disconnect. I don't know if it was price, I don't know what it was, but there's definitely some sort of disconnect between the followers and the backers, just given that ratio over there. But again, we still have time before, we have 22 days left before the campaign ends, so there is still time to go. I assume that back count will double, but it's still not, a massively amount over there. But that does mean you're looking at, 1,000 copies in the wild over there for a game that, we'll see. I'm intrigued on this one, because the fact that there's exclusive campaign content, the fact that there's exclusive expansions over here that you won't be able to get otherwise, that does give me reason to believe that some of this stuff will hold its value. The flip side is I'm weighing that up. Exclusive content for a game that will be out of print for the next 10 years or whatnot. I actually don't know that, but again, if it says exclusive expansions, I don't know what their plans are. So we have limited availability on the newest reprint of this game that has been around for a while, but then we have that versus the fact that only 10% of current followers are back in the campaign, so there's lower interest than what was perceived, so to speak. And those two things combined make me uncertain of how this will do. I'm definitely putting it in the risk category. It may well hold its value. Exclusive expansion content can do that. Again, full expansions that are exclusive to crowdfunding, that definitely gives a good reason to hold its value, but then weighing that up against the lower interest in this game, and how will that interest hold up? If you get this game yourself, and you're like, oh, you know what, it's not for me, and you try to sell in the secondhand market, is there somebody else who's willing to pay that much because that's the only way to get their expansions, or is there not because there's lower interest in this? So it definitely put in the risk category. I see a big pro on the holding its value and a big con on the holding its value. Moving on to our last campaign of the day, we have Shuffle Dungeons, the co-op board game of Endless Dungeons. 1,000 backers, 24 days to go, $49,000 raised. Shuffle Dungeons kind of seems like the Night Cage. It's a co-op game of trying to deal with this boss over here while the dungeon moves and rotates around you. So you're constantly placing down paths in the game, but the dungeon's moving, places are dropping off, all while you try to connect to each other. So give me strong Night Cage vibes in the Shuffle Dungeon as you use various gear or equipment, try to eventually take down the boss and all of that. We have $29 for the basic game, and we have $63 if you want the various games from Zero Strategy, from Zero Strategy Games, if you want their full bundle of games. Shipping's going to run you an additional, here we go, shipping's going to run you $13 for the Shuffle Dungeons, plus if you want the full bundle over here, it's $15, not that much more, but as far as should you back or should you not will hold its value, I'm skeptical it will. It's hard to say for sure. Like, it definitely looks very straightforward in this one. They have 1,000 backers though, nothing wrong with that. I do think it's less like, and it is cheaper, so it is a cheaper game, even once you factor in shipping, but nonetheless, I think this is less likely to hold its value overall. I just don't see that that demand being there as much for what the game is versus what it costs over there. So I'm putting it more in that I'm skeptical this one will hold this value. And that's kind of what we have over here, which brings us time to our words. So it's time for our picks of the week. Picks of the week, which is where I usually go ahead and pick a game that I think is the most likely to hold this value, and the game that I think is my personal interest pick of the week, the one that I'm most personally interested in. And to that end, as far as the one that's most likely to hold its value, I am going to go with the Cat of Mont Michel. I think that this is the most likely from the ones we've seen. There's a high level of interest in this compared to previous content on this game, previous versions of the game system, and I think that combined with like the slipcase deluxe version, all that makes it the most likely to hold its value. I will say, it's still not a slam dunk over here. I don't think there's a for sure holding this value by any means over here. I just think it's the most likely. And then for my personal interest pick of the week, I'm going to go with Dungeon Twisters 20th Anniversary Edition. This is a game that I've never actually had a chance to play, but always wanted to play. And yes, I know I just said it's available on Board Game Arena, but I've never actually played it. I do want to table this one and see how it goes. That's going to be my personal interest pick of the week. And that's basically what we have over here. As far as things coming up next week, we have One Deck Dungeon Relics of the Forge going to be launching, I believe, in 0 days, 23 hours, so very, very soon. And that, I believe it's on Kickstarter, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think it's on back yet. I think it's on Kickstarter, but I'm never really sure with these back here call to actions, so I'm never totally sure. But if you want the vault over here with all the 4 One Deck Dungeons together, and then lastly from that, we have Bloodstones, Dwarfs, and Djinns coming over on GameFound. 4,700 people following this campaign for the expansion to Bloodstones from Wallace Designs. And that is everything we have. Until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. Thanks for being here. Sorry again for the late video. And as always, I hope you have a good one. There's 2 kinds of people in this world. Those that can extrapolate data from incomplete sets,